Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I've done a cooking or baking video, but I've had such a sweet tooth lately. I need to make some healthy desserts to keep in my pantry, or else I'm literally gonna eat every single chocolate chip cookie that I see in sight. Today, I'm gonna be sharing 3 healthy dessert recipes with you guys, and all of these are tested and tasted and TK approved. And before we get started, make sure to smash that like button down below and hit subscribe for more healthy eating videos. Okay, so my first dessert for you guys today are chickpea blondies. I was actually introduced to these when I was cleaning out my pantry before I moved, and I had all these cans of garbanzo beans, or chickpeas if you will, and I had no idea what to make with them. My sister recommended making chickpea blondies, and they sounded super weird, but I was like, screw it, I got nothing to lose. I have all these garbanzo beans and nothing to do with them. So I made them, and holy moly, you guys, these things are delicious. And the easiest part is that you throw everything into the blender, mix it all up, pour it in a pan, and pop it in the oven. It doesn't get simpler than that. So for this recipe, you will need salt, almond butter, baking soda, garbanzo beans or chickpeas, baking powder, cinnamon, not necessary, but I like adding a little in, and then honey and chocolate chips. So I'm first gonna start by opening this can of chickpeas, and then I'm gonna throw them in a strainer and rinse them off in the sink. So now I'm gonna grab my blender. I have a Ninja, but you can just use any old blender, it doesn't matter. And this is when we just start assembling. We literally just throw everything into the blender and hope that it mixes. So I'm going to start off with the chickpeas, and the reason that I kind of swirled my hand around when rinsing them is I was trying to get any of the skins off. And if you've ever seen a skin come off of a chickpea, apparently it's actually a little bit harder on your body to digest the skins. So this is kind of like one of the skins and what they look like, but not a whole lot of them came off. I don't really worry about it. You can actually put them between a paper towel and kind of massage them off. Going in no particular order because we're just throwing all of this in the blender. I'm just going to add a dash of salt, about like 1/4 of a teaspoon. Then I'm going to add just a tiny dash of cinnamon. That's good enough. Now I'm actually gonna use a measuring spoon because I never trust myself with actual like baking powder and baking soda because I feel like that needs to be more exact. So I'm just gonna do 1/4 of a teaspoon of each, 1/4 a teaspoon of baking powder, and then baking soda as well. Now for the 2 most important ingredients next to garbanzo beans. It is mostly almond butter and honey. I get this almond butter from Trader Joe's, the raw almond butter that has nothing in it except for raw almonds. And I also get the no salt added. I really like my almond butter crunchy, so I have the crunchy version, but it doesn't matter which you have for this because we're just putting it all in the blender anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then I'm using honey, and if you're vegan, you can totally use a different substitute for this. You can use like agave or whatever else people use for honey these days. I am pouring about 1/3 of a cup of honey, and okay, this is just gonna take too long. Last time I made these when I was cleaning out my pantry, I literally used the last of my honey and the last of my almond butter, so it worked out perfectly. Okay, I'm just gonna use finger to help this guy out, because honey is very slow. Then I'm going to add in the almond butter. And the nice thing about this almond butter that I get is it's so silky smooth. I can just pour it out literally. And this is a 1/3 cup right now. So I did 1/3 of a cup of honey, and I'm gonna do 2 of these, probably a little less of the almond butter. The only ingredient I didn't put in here is obviously the chocolate chips, because you will add those in the end so that they don't get blended. And this is literally it, guys. Like, all the ingredients are in this one bottle right here. We're gonna blend it, we're gonna pour it in, pop it in the oven, and we're done. So easy. So I'm just grabbing a 9x9 inch baking pan because that's what I have, but you can also use an 8x8 or just like something that's square. And you guys, Oh my goodness, this smells delicious. It smells like almond butter and cinnamon, which is like one of my favorite scents ever. And the consistency of this is going to be a lot thinner than actual cookie dough. As you can see, when I was blending it, I needed to take a couple breaks and add a little bit of water. I recommend adding water about like 1 to 2 tablespoons at a time and just keep blending until it gets all the way through. You don't want to add too much water because then the batter will be a lot thinner and a lot more soggy, and it won't like create that cookie form that you were looking for. I probably ended up adding about 4 to 5 tablespoons of water. But you could also do almond milk or regular milk or just something that is liquid to help it go around in the blender. But before we put this in the pan, we need to add, of course, our chocolate chips. I am just doing semi-sweet mini chocolate chips. I just think if chocolate chips are mini, they are just so much more fun. And I like to add a lot of these guys. And then I'm just gonna take a spoon and kind of like mix these guys around and really get them into the bottom of the mixture. That's good enough. Get onto the pan. Then I'm just gonna smooth it all in this pan. And it'll be just like a nice, like even thin layer. It's kind of like making a cookie cake. So this is what the batter looks like in the pan. It's a very like thin layer, and I just tried to smooth it out to a nice even layer. I also preheated the oven to 350, so now we are just going to pop this sucker in, nice on the middle rack. And then I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. Oh, not 30. 20. And just like that, these chickpea blondies are already finished. I love the crackle and the crust and the browning on the edges. They look so, so good. I smell the cinnamon and the almond butter. We have to try one of these. You can't just like make something on camera and not try it. It tastes like a really soft chocolate chip cookie. If you ever find that you have a million cans of chickpeas in your pantry, you should definitely make these. So easy and so good and so healthy. Honestly, like these replace chocolate chip cookies for me, and they are so much better for you. So my next recipe isn't necessarily dessert, but it can be eaten as dessert, or it can be eaten as a healthy breakfast or a snack, whatever you please. They are banana chocolate protein muffins. These again are so easy to make. You just throw everything in a bowl and mix it together. You could also do this in the blender. I just don't think it'll fit in my blender because my blender is so small. So I am going to do it in a bowl. But we're gonna start off with 2 very ripe bananas. Gotta take off the little stringy bits. I heard that if you open bananas the opposite way, you don't get the little stringy pieces. And then banana number 2. I'm just trying to get off the little stringy bits. Okay, there we go. Oh my God. I can't believe I just threw the peel in the bowl. Wow. We are a mess today. Okay, and before I add anything else to this, I'm going to mash up the bananas with a fork because it'll be a lot harder if there's other ingredients in there. And this is why you need ripe bananas. It's literally just like making banana bread. You just gotta mash them all up. All right, that looks pretty good. Looks like baby food, so that means we did something right. So for this recipe, we are going to do 1 tablespoon of baking soda, and I'm just gonna use my little 1/4 because I already had it dirty. I feel like salt in desserts just makes the flavor just look so much more, like so much more impactful, and it just like brings out the sweetness when you have more salty. To make these guys extra sweet, we're going to pull out our honey again, and for this we're going to do about like 1 to 2 tablespoons depending on how sweet you want them, or if you want to add regular sugar as well. This is all of the sweetener that I'm going to be adding. Actually, I lied. I think I'm going to add a little bit of coconut sugar as well. I have made these before and they turned out really well. I just didn't write down the recipe that I did, so I'm kind of just winging it off of what I remember. So I hope these turn out good. I have a little bit of coconut sugar here, just a tiny bit. And then of course, what is a recipe without cinnamon? Just a little dash of this. I feel like a little bit of cinnamon goes such a long way. All right, I just checked and it looks like I'm all out of vanilla, but I definitely would add some vanilla to this. Probably like half a teaspoon. And then we're gonna add 1 egg Already getting our protein in. So now we get to the part that makes these protein muffins. So first of all, to make these chocolate banana protein muffins, I'm going to add some chocolate protein powder. And you could also just use like vanilla protein powder and add some like cocoa or something, or more of a chocolatey element, but I just happen to have chocolate protein powder. And for this, I'm going to take about 1.5 scoops. This is just the scoop that came with it, so I don't totally know what that measurement is. And then to make these even more protein packed, instead of using flour, we are going to use Kodiak cake pancake mix. Essentially, this is the same as flour. It is just super protein packed, and we're gonna take about 2 cups of this. I am just gonna add this until it has like the right consistency. I am not really a measuring person, and I'm not really a baker either, honestly. I'm really more of a cook, a chef, if you will. So since I don't bake often, I always like measure things out perfectly because I don't really know how things work, and like rising and stuff in the oven, you know, that's a little more complicated than cooking. But I'm trying to be more risque, you know, just like live it up, not measure when it comes to baking. All right, so that was about like 3/4 of a cup. We're gonna add like 1/2 cup more. Oh, this is going to be a perfect consistency. All right, pretty much there. I'm just gonna add like 1/4 cup more. So I think in total, I actually did 1.5 cups of this Kodiak cake mix. Okay, that dough is looking so good, nice and thick, perfect for making muffins. And I actually think I'm gonna add a little bit extra salt. And then to make them even more chocolatey, I'm just gonna add some more of these mini chocolate chips that I have. Like I said, mini chocolate chips, way better than regular chocolate chips. And we will just mix these guys in. Okay, I lied. I'm adding another 1/2 scoop of the chocolate protein powder, so let's make that 2 scoops. I just didn't feel like they were chocolatey enough, you know? What is a dessert without chocolate? Does she exist? I don't believe so. This muffin tin is pretty large, like the actual muffins are pretty big, so I think that's why I was able to put them into one. If you have a smaller muffin pan, then I definitely think this will make more than 6, and these are pretty big, so I don't know how big these are gonna get when they puff up, but these are what they are looking like right now, and they are pretty dang full. For the muffins, I am doing 375, and we are gonna pop these guys in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Oh my goodness, you guys, these muffins are huge. These smell so freaking good. We need to try one. Oh yeah, this came out so easily. Okay, I'm gonna cut this guy in half. The official taste test. Tastes like chocolate banana bread, honestly. My next dessert is gonna be even easier than the last 2. It is something that you can throw together in literally 60 seconds any night, and it'll be such a good, healthy dessert. I like to call this my version of a cookie cake, and I started with a rice cake. These are just like a regular plain rice cake, low sodium. I've also done this with chocolate rice cakes, and oh my goodness, it is so freaking good. But I am just going to use a regular rice cake today. Sometimes I eat this as dessert, but sometimes I also eat it as like a super simple, quick breakfast. So you can do this 2 ways. If you're going the dessert route, I use the Trader Joe's cookie butter. And if you're going the breakfast route, I do my crunchy almond butter. Like I said, this almond butter is literally the best. It has only almonds in it, and I get the no salt version. So there's literally only almonds in here. You can't get any healthier than that. And then I went out on a whim and tried this cookie butter from Trader Joe's because I've heard such good things about it. And seriously, you guys, it is so freaking good. It tastes like a Christmas cookie. And I used to do this recipe with Nutella, and this is so much healthier than Nutella. Honestly, the macros on this are really good for a dessert butter. Only 5 grams of sugar. That is absolutely shocking. That is less than granola bars have. Like, that's insane. The serving size on this cookie butter is about a tablespoon, and that's pretty much what I do. Sometimes like a tablespoon and a half. And I just kind of eye it, and then I just spread her nice and good all over the rice cake. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Just a little bit. Gotta fill in the cracks. So now we have a rice cake covered in cookie butter, and if I was doing almond butter, I would actually sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on top, but with the cookie butter, I don't feel like it needs it. It has like a very like cinnamony, nutmeggy flavor to it already, so I don't wanna add to that. And so super, super simple. I will either add mini chocolate chips, or lately I have been using these cacao nibs. These are basically a plant-based chocolate chip, and I love putting these on the cookie butter on the rice cake. It tastes so good. I will just take like a tablespoon or so and just kind of sprinkle them on. And that is literally it, you guys. Like, it literally has 3 ingredients. It took like 30 seconds to put together, and it tastes so good. This is so simple and quick to make. If I am craving a dessert and I don't want to have something unhealthy, or I don't have anything in the house, I throw this together in 30 seconds or less, and it's so good. And I have this so often, honestly, like almost every night. All right, guys, those are my 3 healthy dessert recipes. These are so yummy. I tried all of them, taste tested them. These were also so easy to make. One of them took 30 seconds, one was all made in the blender, and the other took like 5 minutes. So seriously, you guys can make these at home, meal prep them. You can put these muffins in the freezer. You can keep the chickpea blondies in the fridge and they will last longer. These recipes are so quick. You can even meal prep these to have them ready for the week. You don't just have to meal prep regular meals. You can meal prep dessert as well, because that is something that hits you hard so fast. You just need something to satisfy it. So I actually highly encourage meal prepping your desserts. Let me know in the comments down below which recipe was your favorite. Mine are personally the chickpea blondies because they taste like chocolate chip cookies. So definitely my favorite. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.